So you've just started a family, but you're worried about the practicality of a hatchback or a small sedan as a family vehicle. Well, how about a small MPV? Hi, I'm Kyle, and I've spent 6 months with the Suzuki XL6 as part of Car Magazine's long-term fleet. The XL6 is, of course, based on the Suzuki Ertiga. But to differentiate this model from that one, there's some extra trim that will separate it. You've got a lot of chrome, you've got black plastic cladding with a satin silver front lip. The cladding continues all the way down the profile, some more satin silver trim, black B pillar, black C pillar. You've got roof rails, 15-inch alloy wheels, and around the back, there's some more chrome trim, chrome Suzuki badge. So the bane of most small MPVs is that with the last row of seats up, you've got quite a tiny boot, but that's not the case with the Suzuki XL6. This is a decent amount of room for the third row being up. But you've also got some extra packing space underneath the boot board for when you want to store valuable items out of sight. The XL6's cabin is comfortable, but still quite basic. The driver's seat is adjustable for height manually, and there's also a manually adjustable steering column for rake and reach. What does count in the XL6's favor is that it's got a very easy to use infotainment system. I've been enjoying the Apple CarPlay, but the coolest thing is that these front drink holders are ventilated, so it works in conjunction with the air conditioning to keep your drinks cold or warm. So the biggest talking point about the XL6 is the fact that it's got two individual seats in the middle row, and then it's got two seats in the third row. That means that these passengers have the utmost comfort. The seats are adjustable, so you can recline them and you can adjust the amount of legroom as you see fit. It's quite cool that the second row of seats also has individual adjustment for the ventilation system. Unfortunately though, everyone has to share a single 12-volt charging point. There's a decent amount of legroom for those seated in the last row, as well as a single charging point and two drink holders. My family, friends and I have been enjoying the time with the XL6. It's got an easily modulated clutch, and the gear shift is snappy enough so that driving manually doesn't become a chore. The performance from the 1.5 litre K15B engine is sufficient enough to keep up with traffic in and around town as well as on the freeway. But I do feel that the 5-speed gearbox is a little bit too short for freeway driving. So for instance, at 120 kilometers per hour, the engine is revving quite high, well over 3,500 RPM, and that doesn't bode well for fuel consumption. And I found on a recent trip to Port Elizabeth that in the interest of fuel consumption, it would be better for me to average around 90 or 100 kilometers per hour, and that in return allowed me to average around about 6.7 liters per 100 k's on that particular trip. The XL6's ride is generally very well composed. It's got a chunky sidewall, and that allows it to soak up a lot of bumps on the road. I do have a couple of issues with the XL6 however, and the first one being that after filming the intro for this wrap-up video, I got into the car, started driving, and I still have to manually lock the doors, which is a bit of a safety concern. I would have preferred if the car came standard with auto-locking doors, and then there's no parcel shelf right at the back, so you have to make use of that secret compartment under the boot board when you want to stow away important items. Another aspect of the ride that wasn't very impressive is that with its tall profile and narrow width, the XL6 does tend to move around in crosswinds, especially down here in Cape Town, and it becomes quite disconcerting, especially when the wind is paired with rain, because the car tends to move around on the road. But All in all, my experience with the XL6 over the past 6 months has been rather pleasant. The only issues I've had are very minor, and my partner, my kids, and I will definitely miss the Suzuki XL6.